Got it.
Good morning, everyone. 8:35 on Tuesday, September 20, 2022. This is the regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Selectmen of the town of New Canaan. First item on our agenda, this is a hybrid meeting. I'll talk about that in a minute. First item on our agenda is the minutes of the September 6th meeting. Any comments or corrections?
None.
None here.
I move we approve the minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Public comment. Members of the public are welcome to provide comments to the Board of Selectmen on agenda topics scheduled for review and or vote. Comments should be submitted, can be submitted electronically to bosdistribution@newcanaanct.gov. And we will read them before the end of the meeting. Anyone from the public here today wish to speak? Anybody on Zoom? No. Okay, Irwin survey. Who's doing this? Tiger?
Morning.
Morning.
So this first agenda item is for a survey of Irwin Park. We're looking to install a wetland boardwalk that was approved in the last in this year's fiscal budget. So we had the area flagged for wetlands by William Kenny Associates, and we need to pick the flagging up and do some additional survey work, some topographic work, things of that nature with of the area and in concern. We got a quote from RKW for $13,300, and the funds are currently available. We'd like to proceed. RKW has the base mapping. They did the original survey back when we bought the parcel, so we'd like to engage them to do this work and then update that mapping.
Questions for Tiger?
Just said, Tiger, I forgot to ask you this. So actually, this was not an ARPA funds project, is that right?
No, this is not. This is
Okay.
this was funded through the town budget.
Is there any reason why it was not considered for ARPA? No,
I don't know at the time. I think
it's a different timing, perhaps. So what's the total when you consider adding the land surveying?
I think the budget was $175,000, but I had separate funds for this work out of our operating accounts.
For the surveying
Yeah,
work?
for
you
the
mean?
saving,
Okay.
for the surveying work.
Okay, thank you.
Where is this going? Precisely.
The proposed boardwalk is in the if you're looking at the property in the back left corner, so the southwest corner of the property. As you head up the hillside where the FlexiPave trail is, you go past where the goats were, and you start to head up the hill.
Yep.
That area there is a wetland area in the back.
Aren't we supposed to not have boardwalks across wetlands?
Well, we can. It's just we have to minimize the disturbance.
Right.
We have we have boardwalks across Bristow, the nature center.
Yeah, no, I know. I was,
Sorry.
Yeah.
With as long as we minimize the disturbance, we obviously have to go to the commission for approval, but this will be part of it. Survey is required for that approval.
good.
I move we approve the request from Public Works to enter into a contract with RKW Land Surveying for the $13,300 as described by Tiger. Second,
Second?
further discussion?
Not here.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Waveney Wall Repair.
So this next item is for an extension of a contract with Greg Falacci Masonry. He's been systematically repairing all the walls along Lapham Road at the park itself. We had started in the southern section of the park and worked our way northward. The board had approved $40,000 worth of work in $10,000 increments. At a certain point in time, I jumped them ahead to do the area in and around the pool right before the dedication for Steve. So I wanted to have that all beautified. that came out really, really nice. And now we have a remaining section between where he stopped, basically at the access road to the paddle courts and the pool road. So we have about $20,000 of work left to do. And then there's a small stretch in front of the leaf mulch site down to the trailhead. And the Conservancy has said that they would take care of that since they're responsible for, or they had actually help with work south of the Waveney Road. So that would be a little bit in their purview. So they would help us with that funding for that small piece at the end. And if we get this piece done, the entire wall section along Lapham Road will be done. I think it looks beautiful. I think it's made a huge improvement to the park itself. So the contract is extensions for $20,000 and the funds are currently available.
Tiger, just remind us, these are existing stones. They're being sort of
It's existing
repositioned.
stone walls. We had people, systematically robbing stones as they went. As the wall went into disrepair and the stone would fall down, they might disappear. So we've had to augment it with stones that we have elsewhere. The highway department's been doing a nice job helping us with that. So it's existing stones, and then we've had to augment some since some have disappeared over time.
Okay. He's done a great job. Really
Yeah,
looks
it's
nice.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So people are stealing stones.
I can't say that, it's
Do we have cameras?
repurposing would be a better.
I know we have cameras.
We have cameras in at the two entrances, but we wouldn't be able to scan it up and down.
Right.
And this is pre-camera.
Right.
I think now that we keep it in nice, if the wall's in good shape, no one's going to come and start to dismantle it. It was the fact that it was starting to be in disrepair. And what do you do as the stone rolls off the wall and gets close to the road, and it sits there, at that point in time, someone thinks that we don't care about the wall.
Makes sense.
There are stone robbers in town. No, when I closed on my first house, right? The day before I closed, they came and stole my stone wall.
Right.
Stole my stones.
Mm.
Didn't realize until a few weeks later, they said, they stole your wall. So anyway. I move we approve this request from Public Works to enter into a contract with Greg Palacci for the $20,000 reconstruction of the existing stone walls at Waveney Park along Lapham Road. Second,
Here.
further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. This next approval is for phase 2 of the bluestone walkways at Waveney House. We had originally contracted with Fortino Escalante to do several sections emanating from the fountain itself. The Conservancy reevaluated and felt that they wanted to do the project in its entirety. Fortino, they had looked at work that Fortino had done for us down at Mead Park Lodge. Very similar work, came out phenomenal. So they're going to fund this portion or these stretches of work. And then every piece of bluestone, every walkway leading to and from the fountain will be redone this October, starting in the first week of October. He's got a good section of his schedule open. So the pieces total $30,400. We added a 15% contingency of $4,500 for a total of $34,900 for phase 2 of this portion of the work.
So this is all being funded by the
To be
Conservancy.
funded by the Conservancy. That's correct.
That makes it easy, huh?
Yep.
Mhm.
I move we approve this request. Do you have any questions?
No.
I move we approve the request from Public Works to enter into a contract with Fortino Escalante Inc. in the amount of $34,900, which includes a contingency of $4,500 for the replacement, and proper bedding and installation of the various bluestone walkways around Waveney House, as described by Tiger. Second,
Second.
further discussion?
None here.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
And I want to thank the donors there in particular for that,
Yes.
helping with that project.
Are we on, Tucker?
The TVs went down. I couldn't get them to come on this morning and I just went in.
Joe, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
So I'm here today to request approval for the Town Hall 1909 Stair and Landing Restoration Project. The Department of Public Works requested proposals to rebuild and waterproof the front stairs and landings at the entrance of the Town Hall. A waterproof consultant created construction documents and we received 2 bids from masonry restoration contractors. GL Capasso came in at a bid of $237,800. Summit Masonry and Building Restoration came in very closely at $242,480. GL Capasso is a qualified firm, family-owned business, masonry restoration contractor that's been in business since 1965. The bids came in a little over budget. They were 10%, a little more than 10% over budget. The additional funds are available in the sidewalk budget. And as part of the scope of work, we are going to replace the sidewalks in front of the town hall steps. They were not replaced as part of the last project, and they're due to be replaced. There's some broken ones. Therefore, some funding sources are available. So the Department of Public Works is requesting approval to enter into a contract with GL Capasso for the contract amount of $237,800 plus a contingency of $35,670 for a total of $273,470. And currently there's a lead time on the waterproofing membrane, which is challenging. It's 6 to 8 weeks. So unless we can secure the products, this will be a spring project. Because we don't want to obviously rip apart the town hall stairs and have it like that over the winter time.
So we've got this figured out finally, right?
We have it figured out.
That's
Yeah,
good.
we brought in a waterproof consultant.
We just have to wait till spring to get this going.
Yeah, I mean, there's a possibility, but I'm not hopeful at this moment that we could be able to secure all the materials in time. You really don't want to be performing this work after Thanksgiving time. Just because of the
How
materials.
long would the total project take?
2 months.
2 months? Okay. And when you say you're leading from the steps down to the Main Street sidewalk? or-
Not all the way down, but it will be all the way across the front. You'll be able to see where they was replaced previously. So right in front of the stairs that go down to land use.
The sides, yeah.
It was
okay.
replaced, and then the sidewalk was replaced to the fire marshal's door as well.
Mhm.
So it would be in between there, and then there's another piece of sidewalk that has a broken section that goes out towards Main Street that we'd also replace.
Okay.
And I assume this is going to look the same.
It'll look the same. That's the intent, is to make the project look essentially the same as it did when it was
Good.
handed over in 2015.
And I think we're going to close the front door for a few months permanently so that people will have to enter the town hall from the side entrance, but we'll announce that shortly.
Good.
I move we approve this request from Public Works to enter into a contract with Capasso Inc. in the total amount of $273,470 as described by Joe, which includes the contingency for the rebuilding and waterproofing of the exterior front stairs and landing at town hall. Second,
Second here.
for the discussion, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Tiger back.
Morning again. So this next item is for some sale of some old equipment that we have, some old and unneeded equipment, basically some generators and generator parts that we either received in donation or had that were out of service. We put it on gov bids to see whether or not we would get a bid back. We didn't receive any bids, but we do have an offer from a firm in Pennsylvania, PPB Equipment, that'll provide us $7,500 for the 3 old and out of service generators. And we'd like to make the sale.
Questions?
Will they pick them up or do you
They'll
have to
come and pick
deliver?
them up. We don't
Yeah.
have to deliver them, right?
I move we approve the request from Public Works to enter into a contract with PBB Equipment for $7,500 for the sale of 3 old and out of service generators. Second,
Second?
all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Cheryl, good morning.
Good. Okay, I am here to present, we have 2 employees, Kevin O'Connor and Sarah Carey, who are both due to come off probation. Kevin is with the town clerk's office. We have gotten comments that he works well with the public. He's a nice addition to the office and the staff. within Town Hall have worked very well with him. And Sarah Carey, who is down in planning and zoning, she has also been a great addition to the land use team and very positive comments from the residents. So I would like to see that we remove both of them from probation.
Just as a reminder, probationary status is 3
6
months?
months.
6 months. Okay.
And it can be extended depending on circumstances. So
I support this.
Mhm.
Questions?
I'm here.
I move we approve the request from Human Resources to remove Kevin O'Connor and Sarah Carey from probationary status as described by Cheryl. Second,
Second here.
all in favor? Aye.
the next one is the grant writer position. This came about through the Health and Human Services Commission. It was discussed probably about 2 months ago. So I started speaking with other towns such as Stamford, Stratford, Bristol, Norwalk, Westport, Berlin, and Fairfield. They all have grant writers, talking to them about the position. We put together a job description, which you both have. And we would like to see this position move forward. It would be a full-time position. And I think yesterday we had received information for different towns that are receiving state grants. And we have many communities that are getting grants that we are not receiving. We do not have the staff on board to apply for a lot of these grants, whether it be public works, first responders, health and human services. And I think the town would do well to have a full-time grant writer.
So theoretically, this should pay for its, this position
Correct.
should pay for itself and then some.
Correct.
if
And
we're
that's
doing this
what,
right.
that's exactly what the other towns have told us.
Right.
So.
Some have more than one.
I was gonna ask that. I'm fully supportive of grant writer. I do think we leave money on the table by not pursuing some of these grants. which
Totally
are out
agree.
there. I think we just actually got a notification about one yesterday. So,
Correct.
yeah, so that was great. And I think it's very timely. I wonder, and I.
What grant did we get yesterday?
It was
one
a
about
grant that-
land.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
It was a grant that other towns had gotten. You had sent the information about. I
Oh, the
think
steep
that's
gra- the steep
one,
grants,
The
yeah.
steep grant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there was something else that just came from it. I'll send it to you. but
Okay.
just
Okay.
Unsolicited, but I always support grant writers and I think they do a terrific job. And as Nika says, they pay for themselves over time. So I think that's great. I wonder if you'd consider maybe starting with a part-time position rather than a full-time position and then possibly going to 2 part-time positions. I think that's enables you to sort of start up the grant writing process. And then once it's underway, you can have 2 people sort of working. It also saves on benefits, et cetera. So just something to consider.
Okay.
I think we can always back off if we don't see candidates for the full-time that are desirable. So I think it's best to start with looking for the full-time and see what we get and then back off. But I don't want to do this half-ass. I want to do this right.
Part-time is not half-ass.
Yeah, it is, we've
It's,
discovered people who are volunteers or working part-time don't get the job done. So
Well, anyway, lots of great grant writers out there. So whether it's part-time, which I recommend, or full-time, I think that's a good idea.
Perfect. Thank you.
I move we approve the request from Human Resources to approve a new full-time position of grant writer as described by Cheryl. Second,
I'll second.
all in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
One more?
Lynn, you want to join me? Thank you. The next is to present Matthew Juliana, who would be the Assistant Town Planner. As you can see from his resume, he had worked for the Department of Housing and Preservation and Development since 1/16. He is currently the director. Before that was a city planner with the City of New York from 2010 to 11. He has his AICP license and also his master's in city and regional planning. We had interviewed a couple candidates, had received many resumes and had a group interviewing, and Matthew definitely came to the top. So, and I don't know if there's anything you
I
want
think
to
you
add.
said it all.
So we would like to see if we could bring on Matthew as an assistant planner to help Lynn out.
Now, would he be on probationary?
He will be on
Yeah.
probation. Yes, everybody is.
Could you just update the tablets with his CV? We didn't get that. So
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Make sure.
And where does he live?
He lives in South Salem, but he's in Vista right now. So. And the commute to the city has been long and.
This should be a very good hire. So
Do you have any other openings in the planning department? Or does this fill you out?
This should fill us for right now, but depending on the project load, we might need more.
I move we approve the request from Human Resources to do what? To hire Matthew Juliana as assistant planner effective October 17th, as described by Cheryl. Second,
Second here.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Cheryl. Tiger, you're back for the tree warden. Who never comes. Gotta have Bob come once in a while.
Sure. It's whenever you'd like to have him here, he's happy to attend. I spoke to him about it. He said, just let him know. So this is for the latest tree bid that the tree warden put out. It's for 11 separate locations in town. Hutchinson Tree came in as the low bidder at $18,355. We had received 3 bids. They're all relatively tight together, and we'd like to proceed with the work.
Any questions?
None here.
I'll just, Tiger,
Sure.
you usually put the actual trees that are scheduled for takedown. We did not get that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So just, if you can just post it, that's
We
fine.
will, we'll do that. Sorry, I thought it was as part of
We got the
the
cover memo.
part of the memo. What?
Yeah, we got the cover memo.
Oh, you didn't get the backup. Oh,
description.
normally
Yeah.
it's part of the backup. I
Yeah.
apologize. Well, this is
problem. Yeah, no
Apple Tree
problem.
Lane, Putnam Road, White Oak Shade, Greenlee, South Bald Hill, West School, some stuff on Ponus Ridge, Kiwanis Park, Bristow Park, and Fieldcrest Village.
Great. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you. Apologize for that.
No further questions. I move we approve the request from the tree warden to enter into a contract with the Hutchinson Tree Service in the amount of $18,355 for the removal, pruning, and stump removal of various trees around town, as supposed to be set forth on our tablet. So
Second.
further questions, further discussion?
None here.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Contracts. I would note that as we discussed 2 weeks ago, I've agreed to the PAL contract on the Churchill Historic District, which I met with them, a very impressive group. They did the Waveney Mansion or registration. And it's not clear yet what the scope of this will be in terms of the boundaries, but the original proposal back in the 1990s was 80s or 90s, whatever.
Early 1990, I think.
That was not approved by the neighbors. But the value of this is to protect our historic district. And that's why we're doing it. It's a furtherance to protecting our historic district. So that when we get the invoice, I'll pay the $10,000 invoice as we had discussed.
It'll go under contracts.
Right.
Yeah.
But otherwise, the contracts, only a couple there. Questions?
No, I'm in favor of this contract.
Tax overpayments?
Can I just ask on that contract, will we actually see what they put together before they submit?
Yeah, I was going to say, we're
Okay.
the client with the Preservation Alliance, and we're not going to sign on to a blank check.
Thanks.
Tax overpayments, one real estate, a couple automobile. Okay. I move we approve the tax overpayments on the tablets.
Second here.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Legal fees? Questions? I move we approve the legal fees on the tablets.
A second.
Further discussion? All in
None
favor? Aye. That's unanimous. That brings us to comments, and I would just note a couple of things. One is last week we sent out a email to everyone about the COVID-19 vaccination booster vaccination clinics we're having. And if you didn't get that email, that means you're not on the Everbridge list of emergency contacts. And we want to encourage everybody to be on that list in the event of emergencies, and to the extent COVID may not longer be a pandemic, but it's still something that we're going to take seriously in New Canaan, and encourage everyone to get their booster shots as we come into the fall and winter season. The clinics are filling up fast. I think they're going to do 500 tomorrow at the high school for both teachers and students. And we will continue this as long as the demand into October. So, and I think, what else?
Sorry, I'm still not sure about that.
You gotta love Google.
Also, I wanted to mention I told the Board of Finance last week that I expected to have the Planning and Zoning Commission teed up for next Tuesday's meeting, but we're not going to make that schedule because Homeland Towers is not ready to move forward with a balloon float. So they're just
Where are we with that process? Because I think in one of our prior meetings, we had talked about having like an evening session.
Well, I think in October,
BOS.
as the decision here on locations will be the planning and zoning as contemplated by the changes we made to our zoning regs.
I'm sorry, the decision to do what?
Decisions about locations on town property.
But ultimately, the Board of Selectmen as a board.
Board of
has to
Selectmen's role
approve.
is to approve and recommend a lease to the town council.
Right.
So the town council will be having public hearings, but I think an information session in October is something that would be helpful.
But I mean, I guess where I'm coming from is why would we be pushing stuff to P and Z, to town council, to other public bodies when we as a group haven't really
Well,
gone on record as being for or against?
I think we all agree that there needs to be a west cell tower somewhere, right? And
I'm not sure that's correct.
you don't want a west cell tower?
I'd like to learn more about the need for a tower, present usage. I mean, there's a lot of questions that I have with respect to this whole situation.
Nick, after Uvalde, we're going to debate whether West School needs cell service. I met with last week with the Crisis Advisory Board, and the teachers and the administration are totally on board with getting cell service to West School. So
you're saying the superintendent and the Board of Education is on board? Is that part of your?
they're on board with having cell service to West School. Where the tower is a question, but we need cell service to West School.
Okay, but can we hear that from somebody other than you? Can we hear that from the public? Can we hear that from the experts? Can we hear that from, go ahead, Catherine.
So thank you for, I think we did pledge that we were going to have some communication,
Right.
Education, information sharing. So I think in the public domain. So I think that's great. I think whether or not this Board of Ed and the teachers think they need it, which I agree, I think the public needs to hear that too. So I think if we could schedule some time for 1 or 2 sessions where there's information exchange, the need for the cell tower. I actually was at West School. I went down and toured the potential spot. I was on 5G. I think the carrier actually matters, who you might have. So some you won't have any if you're on Verizon, but on AT&T, I was able to get cell service sitting in the parking lot at West School. So it would be, I think, helpful for us to understand all the carriers, who they serve, how they want to, grow if they do, and what the options are. I think technology, and I know you know that, you've looked at what options there are. I think you mentioned at our last meeting, there's a provider that's with 7 smaller towers here. And I
No,
think
Verizon's, adding addition of small cells downtown.
small cells, yeah.
Is just to supplement the capacity downtown.
I think that's great information.
Because we don't have tall towers downtown.
Exactly.
45 feet above the building is not good cell service.
So that kind of information
yeah.
and sharing that with the public, I think is worthwhile.
What's
So-
important, Verizon is the one that came forward with this tower. And you know, despite what you say, I think you'll find that AT&T also wants to be in this location. So, and they don't randomly decide whether they're going to spend their money. I mean,
Well, yeah,
these are scarce resources that, you know, people all over the country are fighting for.
And that's what we'd like to hear. So I inquired about AT&T service at West School. However, by putting up a tower in and around the area, if it was AT&T plus Verizon, which expressed interest, that can get over to Frogtown, where there's less coverage because of the topography. So this is information I'm learning,
No,
but it
fantastic,
should be
yeah.
shared with.
Well,
the
again, we
public
hired
service.
Homeland Towers as our agent to get this job done, and they're doing what we asked them to do. So I agree. We have to educate the public.
Yeah,
because-
no, I thought we had an agreement amongst the three of us that we were going to have more information coming forward to educate me, to educate
Right.
Selectman Corbett and you, and the public should be part of that. And, you know, look, we've received a lot of input from the public, much of which is negative with respect to any cell phone tower at West School. So
Yeah,
I think,
the cell phone tower is not at West School, right? It's on a 47-acre property the town owns.
understand that, but a lot of folks referred to this as the West School cell phone tower. Whether you like that or not, that's just a matter of fact.
So early October then perhaps? We can
No,
get
we're gonna,
something
yeah, but again, we have to,
Right.
planning and zoning has the responsibility here to decide on locations on town property. So that's something that we agreed to, and they will do.
Do you want to do that though before planning and zoning
Again,
meets?
it's-
I think it'd be more
I think
informative.
people will have more information when they see proposed balloon floats. Right? That commits us to nothing. I don't expect planning and zoning now is going to be having a meeting until mid-October or maybe even pushing into November, but we have
To
to.
be clear,
Yeah.
there's going to be no cell phone tower put up anywhere unless we approve it as a Board of Selectmen. Do you agree with
I
that?
don't think that's the case. I think the planning, zoning, the town council are the two bodies that have to approve. We have to approve the terms of a lease. Right?
Okay, yeah,
But
yeah.
this body doesn't decide where cell towers are going.
but we approve the terms of the lease. You just said that. You're on record as saying that, correct?
Right, but that could
Okay,
come,
okay, thank you.
that
that's-
could come
that's-
after P and Z decides, right?
Yeah, I guess it could.
Yeah.
Which is why it might be a waste of time for all these other bodies going forward when we the three of us haven't made a determination.
I think at least two of us are gonna, approve of cell tower on the west side of town. Because we can't play politics with this issue. I mean, this is a matter of life and death safety. And I'm gonna stand with our first responders and I'm gonna protect our students and our teachers. And, this is not a political.
I look forward to hearing from the Board of Ed and from our superintendent and from the teachers. So,
Good.
Just
as
for the
part of the
record, I have
process.
not made any decision until we go through a proper hearing of all the information. So
Anyway, any comments?
I just had, so thank you for covering that. That was on my list. And then one other item on I guess just on our minutes, the volunteer tax abatements, they were going to come back. Or is that, I guess we're waiting a
She
couple more
only
weeks.
has one right now, so
Okay.
she's gonna come back to us.
Okay.
With more.
Okay, terrific. Thank you.
yeah, well, I have one other comment. We had talked about repurposing or getting back to a utilities commission at some point, I think. And I bring that up in the context of the cell phone towers, because I think, that's an issue that a robust utilities commission, could tackle. And we've got, Lord knows, in this town, we've got experts all over the place that could help out with something like that.
My view on that, right, the Utilities Commission, I think I attended every Utilities Commission meeting was on the town council. Sven Anglin and I bird dogged
Mhm.
cell service for
Mhm.
4 years. And Tom Teslick resigned the day after the election.
So we just gave up.
No,
Is that-
no,
is
no,
that right?
no, no, instead, I mean, the mission had been set. And Homeland Towers has been doing a great job for us, as we asked them to do.
So Homeland
the other-
Towers
the-
has become our utilities commission. Is that right? Is that what
No,
you're
no,
saying?
I'm just saying, we hired them to do a job. And they've been putting a lot of work into this, and when a carrier comes along, finally. Right, we haven't seen Verizon in 5 years. Other than the small cells, which is just, make sure, actually, it was interesting on Sunday morning,
Mhm.
you couldn't make a call into Verizon because there were so many people in town. Cell service means not only coverage, but capacity.
And that's important information to
Yeah,
share.
everybody has to know.
Uh,
So,
the-
so the Utilities Commission, they worked on gas,
Mhm.
right? We solved the gas problem. They worked on solar. We did more solar than they ever expected to do. And we work with the utilities in terms of Eversource and Aquarian and Frontier, although they're not regulated utilities. Frustratingly, the cable companies have no regulator, no effective regulator. Frontier and Optimum LTs, but we work with them all the time. I personally, having watched what the Utilities Commission did, I don't see the need, the historic definition, which Rob and you try to change to something, a different mission, but was to deal with utilities for customer complaints. We deal with customer complaints with utilities all the time. So my view is that, again, Tom Teslick for 5 years did a great job establishing, right, did a yeoman's work, as you and Rob complimented him in August of 2016, right? We changed our zoning regulations. We have a plan. Homeland Towers is our RFP chosen agent, and now's the time to implement. And we've been doing, it took 15 years to get the Silver Hill Hospital tower built after Dick Bond asked Silver Hill Hospital. It took 15 years to get the Exit 38 Armory tower built. It took 15 years to get the Country Club tower. Took, I think, 12 years, 10 years, right? So these towers historically have taken 10 or 15 years. What we did with AT&T was, set us back when we, let AT&T spend money, and then we walked away. So, the Soundview Lane Tower took 5 years until it became operational. The Upper Honus Hill Tower should be approved by the Siting Council soon. That took 3 years from the time we started working on it. I've been working for 3 years to have Verizon added to the Country Club Tower. The Country Club's fully on board. Verizon's fully on board. And just trying to get a slow moving SBA tower company to get it done. But these things, we just have to follow through on the strategy that Tom Teslick very well designed, and we're implementing. So, and the public has to, if you haven't been in town long enough to understand, I think most adults in town get it, especially realtors. When you a house without cell service is not going to sell like a house with cell service. So someone made the comment online that commerce over constituents. This is not commerce over constituents. This is safety. Safety for our first responders and our teachers and our students. So
I would just,
Go ahead, Ken.
I do
Yeah.
also support the reinstitution of the Utility Commission. I think there are some talented people in town that could fill that role. And I think it also, we've had utility issues, whether it's water, electric, fiber, et cetera, that I think would warrant the use of a utility solution. Thank you for all the work that you've done and your team have done over the last, how many years has it been since?
9 years.
9 years.
Yeah.
I think they could have been also very helpful during that time, but I think going forward, there's argument for why we should reconsider that. There's a gentleman in the audience that's been raising his hand. Sure.
we normally take public comment at the beginning, Bill, but go ahead. You're more than welcome to come. Yeah.
Morning, Selectmen. I'm Joe Paulo from Arrowhead Trail and a very happy Verizon customer. When I drive to West School, my service is fine. It really is. I don't know about AT&T, but we can go there today and I'll show you that the coverage at West School is just fine in various parts of the location. There've been a number of things.
Bill, that's not my experience when I'm over there. So there must be some difference
I
between
will
you.
call you today when I get there.
Okay. Okay.
A couple of things. I did the research on the Utility Commission and I presented it to you several months, a couple of weeks ago. It's a commission in the town charter given the same weight and status as police and fire and EMS. As taxpayers, we've paid for that commission. As a process, we're entitled to the benefits of that commission. We don't have that commission, Mr. First Selectman, because you have not appointed people to replace Tom Teslick and the commission. I have to raise the issue that this is a failure of the government to provide us with something that we need. But let me expand a little further. 2 proposals for leases have come forward this year, one for the Playhouse, one for the cell tower, at approximately the same times. The Playhouse has proceeded in a very orderly fashion and I think has gained a lot of support. This has proceeded in parallel in a very convoluted, obfuscated, and biased process. To make a point, Homeland Towers presented 2 options, A and B, 740 feet, 150 feet. Last week, when you presented to the Board of Finance, you discussed 2 options no one had ever heard of.
Right.
At Llewellyn and at 1,000 feet. I would encourage you to go look at the June 28th meeting in this room, where Llewellyn was specifically addressed by Mr. Vergati, and he said, it doesn't work. The carriers don't like it, and it doesn't check the boxes. When it came to moving the tower 1,000 feet behind the school, which Selectman Corbett suggested, you said the topography drops off. Mr. Vergati said there's wetlands. So those 2 proposals that you've specifically mentioned to the Board of Finance were discounted by the people in this room in June. So do we have 2 proposals or 4 proposals? What are we talking about as we're running around sending documents to the town council? I would remind everyone that the balloon test for the 2017 cell tower was canceled, and it was canceled by public outcry. And Homeland Towers took the position that they would make measurements off of the water tower as an estimate. So this sort of convoluted back alley approach to putting in place all the things to approve a cell tower is very different and biased compared to the way the Playhouse was developed and compared to the way things were done in 2017 when we had a utilities commission. So I propose to the Board of Selectmen now, if you want this tower, take a vote and agree that this is what you want to do, or take a vote and say that you don't want to do the cell tower. But you're putting a lot of people in the town through a lot of stress and work to keep track and monitoring this process. And we're trying to be as polite. It's not a political process. You encouraged us to do our homework. I've done the homework. I've submitted to you. You haven't seen my best pitch. There's tremendous information that's going to discourage you from doing the cell tower. Let me give you just one piece. Are you aware that the appellate court, the DC Circuit Appellate Court, has told the Federal Communications Commission that all of its safety standards are biased and that they need to be redone, specifically as it relates to health of children and reproductive medicine? I will provide those documents to you later today. So there's now a appellate court decision telling the FCC that the safety standards are not viable. And I'll present that to you. So this process is biased and it's different, and the Playhouse is a very good model that shows just how different it is. The absence of the utility commission shows how different it is, and you really are taking us down a very strange, convoluted, obfuscated, and biased road. Those are my comments. I'm happy to listen to a response or just leave, whichever you prefer.
Joe, we just take comments.
Okay.
Okay. So-
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you.
Any further comments?
Done here.
I move we adjourn at 9:18. Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Hi.